Hi, it's Daniel here. Just making a quick YouTube video today. Really just want to talk about how I studied and learned Japanese. There's so many YouTube videos going around that are all like, oh, how to learn Japanese in 1 month or how to learn Japanese in 6 months and be fluent and all that in such a short amount of time. I remember when I seen those types of YouTube videos when I was studying and I was in like my 3rd and 4th year of studying, and I would think, what the heck is wrong with me that I can't be fluent in 6 months or a year? And I kind of always thought, those types of videos are just a pile of rubbish. So I just kind of want to talk about how I have been studying Japanese, and I've been studying about 11 years. So I kind of just want to go over that. But for now, I am making myself a cup of tea. So yeah, starting the day with my Lipton tea. Definitely need to get more. It's actually just coming up on 8 in the morning as I record this. And yeah, the weather's actually getting good. Finally, about time. It's getting warm. It's in the 20s. It could maybe rain a wee bit today, but overall it's actually meant to be a pretty solid day. And you can actually see the house being built next door. If you've been watching videos from the start, you may have actually seen what was just an empty mound of land. This is what they've really been doing the past month that fast. So yeah, they're doing good. So yeah, if I have a bit of time later, I might actually go out for a short walk and enjoy the sun. Get some more sun around my face. Maybe build up a wee bit of a tan and hopefully not get burnt. So yeah, just as I'm recording this video, just getting my morning routine out of the way. I've actually been going with this cereal lately. It's pretty good. Has chocolate and banana as well as a few other things. So yeah, coconut there, a bit of strawberry, heart-shaped biscuit. Yeah, so lots of different things, almond. So yeah, it's a pretty solid, good way to start the day. Okay, I'm absolutely ready to dig in here. So yeah, the aim of today's video, so how have I been studying and learning Japanese? As I said, I've actually been doing it for about 11 or so years. That's not to say it's been entirely consistent those 11 years. Probably like most of you watching, I've had a busy job, busy work life. As a teacher back home, I was getting to work early. So I was before my actual start time, doing an hour of work before my actual work, so my unpaid work there. And then after my paid shift, would then return home and would be doing various like admin tasks until maybe, if I was lucky, 7 or 8 o'clock. Just the life of a teacher kind of sucks. So just before I start introducing various study methods, textbooks and resources, I just kind of want to highlight that I'm still studying 11 years in. There is no perfect way to learn in Japanese. Everyone has their own ability, everyone has their own schedule, timeline, and things like that. Everyone has various targets too. So there is no perfect way, regardless of what a YouTube video or an individual might say, because everyone is just different. So with that being said, I'll introduce a variety of textbooks, study methods, give a few opinions and thoughts, and you can kind of just decide for yourself how you best want to approach studying Japanese. And fingers crossed that you meet your own expectations, are happy enough with how you're doing, and can become your level of fluency in Japanese. So one of the book series that I had actually started with way back in the past was a book series called Japanese from Zero. I don't still use that book series now, but if you're the type of person that just wants to use enough Japanese to get by, it is a very good book series to use. It's very simple. So it's very friendly and inviting as you open it up and read through it. It's not an intimidating book, is what I'm trying to say. I do think it's a very good place to start, but definitely not with the long-term goal of becoming fluent. I got as far as book 4. So I did, and I felt like my Japanese wasn't progressing as fast as I would like, or getting to advanced stuff. It was going at a much slower pace. So if you're wanting to learn Japanese, but just really to kind of get by as a visitor, then that's a good place to start. If you're wanting to learn Japanese a lot more seriously and even have a bit of extra resources, I recommend the website called JLPT Sensei. So that is JLPT Sensei. I don't recommend it for a main resource. It's definitely good for a supplementary, especially if you're focusing on getting the JLPT certificate. It is very good because it categorizes the website into the different JLPT tiers and levels. And it's further categorized by grammar of JLPT 5 or verbs of JLPT 5, things like that. Sorry, a wee bit of construction going on outside. So yeah, it's definitely a very good supplementary source if you have a good book. I'm going to start recommending the books that I actually use right now. The first book that I'm going to actually recommend that I'm currently using is the book series known as Try. So I'm on Try N3. And I made my way through Try N4 about a year or so ago and got through it quite nicely. Thankfully had a good base to work from, and yeah, it was able to teach me quite a number of new things. It's a very good book, and I'll show you a wee bit of the inside of this one so you have a bit of an idea of what to expect. Okay, so here we have the front cover, Try N3. Okay, so just to give you an idea of what's inside this textbook and this textbook series, here we have some reading comprehension, and you can kind of see that it does make use of furigana. So for any new words that have been introduced in the specific tier of book that you have purchased, it will make use of the furigana. Just to remind you of that new kanji. Any kanji that was introduced in previous textbooks will not have the furigana. So you do sometimes get a bit of an English explanation, but largely when new things are introduced, you'll get very limited English explanations. It will largely be in Japanese, but with a bit of instruction on how to use the new grammar or the new verbs. And then you'll have a few sample sentences to go from. And then eventually you'll have some comprehension. So there can be things such as like filling in the blanks, connecting the sentences, various ways to kind of study and just kind of get it into your head. Of course, you can always use Google Translate as well, just to double check your answers, or even just to kind of just understand some of these sample sentences and vocabulary they're brought in, because it doesn't say, for example, in other textbooks, it wouldn't have a vocabulary list to work from. So it is a more advanced book, but that lack of hand-holding is kind of good. So I do recommend this textbook. It's really helped me, and I still have to finish the N3 one. When I'm making sentences and studying vocabulary, I actually also use two websites to compile my notes together. I use Anki, which is a flashcard app, and I also use Quizlet, which is another flashcard app, but Quizlet would be a bit more advanced and modern than Anki. So if display is super important for you, then chances are you're going to like Quizlet. Both Anki and Quizlet largely do work the same. Some people are, more inclined to use Anki over Quizlet and really just don't like Quizlet at all. I see the benefit of both of them. I have had issues with Anki in the past where when I've, say, for example, gotten a new laptop or phone and, got the app and then tried to recover my decks that I've made, I've then lost those decks. So that's a lot of work, it just kind of lost just quite easily. So if you don't like the sound of that, then I would definitely recommend Quizlet. You can sign up with your Gmail address. I would probably be more inclined to use Quizlet because of past experiences with Anki. But yeah, flashcards are a good way to study and review your work, a good way to compile your notes so you don't have a lot of textbooks or notebooks lying around gathering up. That's the way I'm doing it now, but an additional way I've actually been getting through my N3 booklet has been using the Office 365 app, Microsoft Word. So I do a lot of my note taking on that, and even the exercises I use Office 365 Microsoft Word, and for the exact same reason as before, it just stops notebooks piling up. I used to do that and I had many notebooks. Okay, so another book that I largely make use of now is this one right here. You can actually get it on Amazon, Japanese Short Stories for Beginners. It kind of ranges between JLPT 5, 4 and a tiny bit of 3, I would say, a tiny bit. It's good for obviously reading, and it doesn't really feel like studying. Personally, I will be honest, I am getting a wee bit tired of studying via textbooks, and I'm starting to make the shift more to books like this because it's a lot more fun, doesn't feel like studying, and yeah, I find it just a wee bit more useful because you're getting to see the vocabulary in more natural ways. So yeah, absolutely recommend this book or even a book like it. So here we have the first chapter, literally just called Train. And similar to some other books, you can obviously see that we'll have a wee bit of furigana right here at the top of some kanji. But yeah, overall, it's easy enough to read if you have like a basis or at least JLPT 4. It's good. So what is, show you a wee bit more here of it. So you can see that you have the reading with English translation as well. I always when I'm reading a new chapter, because I only got this book recently, I will read the Japanese first and just see what I can kind of get through. Then I will check the English translation to make sure I've understood it correctly. And then the other good thing about this book is it does have a vocabulary list. So that is also quite good as well. So it's a rather large book, 20 chapters in total, all with the same kind of format that we're seeing here. And lastly, I also want to recommend AI. AI, I know, can be a bit of like a controversial topic, but you know what? See, for studying another language, it's actually pretty good. I've been using it to help me create sample sentences. Let's say, for example, I'm learning a new verb in Japanese, and we'll use the verb hajimeru, so to start. So I would then ask AI to make a few sample sentences on that verb. So that verb being the main focus. I then will make my commands, my instruction more specific and say to AI to make sample sentences for the verb hajimeru, but focusing on common vocabulary for JLPT 3. We'll go with JLPT 3. So it'll then provide me various sample sentences, but I could then say, only provide me with 5 sample sentences, or generate 5 more. So you can then make your instructions just more tailored to exactly what you're wanting. It's a good way to think of sample sentences or create sample sentences if you're too lazy to think of them yourself. So yeah, I do recommend AI for the likes of that. It's quite good. So with that all being said, that's how I have studied Japanese and how I am currently studying Japanese. It's not there's no perfect way to studying it. As I said, a lot of those YouTube videos in the past, they're all like, oh yeah, get fluent in 1 month, get fluent in 1 year. It's just, to me, it's a pile of rubbish. Everyone has their own pace of becoming fluent, and fluency can be, defined in different ways. Some people define fluency as, enough to get by or just conversational, and others might say fluency is being 100% perfect in the language. So really, it comes down to what your target is and what you want out of learning Japanese. So don't put a lot of pressure on yourself if you've been studying Japanese for years. Remember, you have a different lifestyle compared to someone else. You might be very busy and not able to dedicate just as much time to your Japanese. So yeah, try not to be put off. I know it can be difficult, and there's been times where it's kind of shattered my confidence a little bit when I can compare myself to others. But just kind of keep doing what you can do. Take it at your own pace, and even if you just get a tiny bit of improvement, it's still improvement that you didn't have, say, a few days ago or a week ago. So just take the positives where you can, and hopefully this advice helps, and hopefully the resources I provided also kind of help. So thanks for watching.